about it. March, I'm sure he's not happy. Like, have you ever been unhappy with your boss? Have you ever been unhappy with, you asked for a raise and you didn't get it, or you asked for more money and whatever you asked for, they only gave you half, or somebody else gets assigned to a project, or whatever it is. See, you're unhappy. But you still show up and do your job, right? You don't take that on your coworkers, right? So I'm sure he's not happy. I don't blame him for being unhappy. Like, I get it. There is a part of him that either hoped the Bengals would give him what he was looking for financially, or that they would let him hit free agency. Now, I don't think that was ever really going to happen. But whatever amount of disaffection or discontent he demonstrates in March, even if there's a hold-in or a hold-out this summer, I have every reason to believe that when the games begin, T. Higgins is going to play hard, and he's going to play with the team being a priority. I default to your track record. He, at the end of the season, in that game against Kansas City, could have very easily said, screw this. I'm not coming back out on the field. I got to protect myself. I might hit free agency. I'm not putting myself in harm's way. And yet, without coaches prompting him, he put himself on the field.
That if you're going to run a contest or do something, you tell people you're going to do it, you do it, you tell them you did it. Donald Trump told people what he would do in 2016. He got elected, he did it, and he's reminding people now what he did. I have, in my interviews and in the speeches that I have heard, he's been pretty specific in what he plans to do if he's elected president again. And does he occasionally, is he but I digress. Let's put it that way. Does he do that? Yes, he does. But I think, look, if I'm Donald Trump right now, I'm seeing a Joe Biden that is very weak, frail, a cognitive mess, that has a very, very, very hard job. He now is, everything he's now doing is to shore up his base. Trump's base is rock solid. You might have never Trumpers. In the end, I would argue probably a lot of those people are going to go home because they know that our nation is in decline under Biden's policies. But if I was Trump, and I've had discussions with him about it, I'd go after Joe Biden's base. The base of the Democratic Party is a coalition party demographically. You see these massive numbers in polls, Hispanic Americans, African Americans, young people, suburban women. I would also unite the Republican Party around principles and ideas and policy objectives. I would remind people about what matters, and that's keeping our cities safer, better schools, secure borders, lower taxes, less regulation, stop shoving electric vehicles down our throat, and assure the American people that once again America will retake our mantle as the leader in the free world. That's what I would tell him to do. And can he do that in 5 minutes? Yeah, but I don't think anybody wants to go to a rally that only lasts 5 minutes, so he's got to fill some airtime, right?
Yeah, but you got to look at the polls though too. And the polls, I can't believe the polls are as close as they are with all the damage Biden has done to the country. If you believe that, and you go with the facts, the polls are still as close as they are. And you go, it shouldn't even be anywhere near this close. It should be 70-80% Trump, 20% Biden. But it's so close. And my concern is, like you said, I think the non-committals and the people that said, I'm not going to vote for Biden, let's say over the Palestinian issue, they'll go back to Biden. They're not going to vote for Trump. Okay, it's like a family. You can say my dad's a bum, my mom, I don't like my mom, but when it comes down to it, you support your family. It's the fight between your family and neighbors. So I think Trump is missing a big opportunity here where he could get out and say, example, listen, illegal immigration, we know how bad it is. Let me show you how bad it is. And I think you ran a chart, or somebody ran a chart on Fox where it showed 4 years of Trump, I can't remember the number, 3 million maybe, or 4 million illegal immigrants tops in 4 years. Biden, 10 million in 3 years. But Trump gets on, he says, oh, we have a terrible problem with illegal immigration. We're letting people out of jails. We're letting them out of the asylums. Show it. If that's true, then put up a chart and show it. But again, I support him. Excuse me, but being an attorney, I even get to a point where I go, give me some more information. Don't just say it. And like, the other example would be on the inflation. Biden gets on every day and says, and Jean-Pierre, inflation is down to 3%. It's the lowest it's been in 4 years. And you go, yeah, but look where it is since you took office. Everything's up 20%. Why doesn't Trump get his chart and show like you do and other people do on Fox and go, look at the price of eggs, look at the cost of utilities, look at the cost of gas since you took office. It's not the last year. We don't care about that. It's since you took office. But he doesn't tend to do that. And I want him to win, and I yearn for that. But I don't see.
Listen, when Steve Miller gets back in there and he's his lead speechwriter, I'm sure all of those specifics are going to come into play. And I think there's a time and place. I think you're giving very solid, sound advice. I really do. I don't disagree with you. I think, but I think it's a valid point. I think you're right. Compare and contrast your record versus Joe's record. And the more you do that, the more people that they've gotten on every major issue that I mentioned dramatically worse. The issues you mentioned dramatically. I think that's a great idea. Anyway, don't get frustrated. All right, quick break. We'll come back. We'll hit the phone some more. 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. I want to tell you about what our friends at AmericanFinancing.net are doing. A family-owned business, a mortgage company. They've been around over 25 years, and they are saving homeowners just like you an average of $854 a month. They do it by tapping into your home's equity. That helps you pay off high-interest debt like credit card debt. Right now, mortgage rates if you have it on homes, depending on the loan you get, are much lower than they've been in a long time. And all it takes is a 10-minute free, no-obligation call with their mortgage consultants to find out how much they can save you. Now, they're saving the average person that calls them $854 a month. That's like a $10,000 a year raise. That might be the difference between going into debt and being in the black and having money left over. Anyway, make that call now. Free, no obligation. AmericanFinancing.net, 866-615-9200. 866-615-9200 on the web. It's AmericanFinancing.net.
MLS 18234 MLS Consumer Access Federal APR for rates from 5 to 6.6% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 800-906-2440 for details about credit costs and terms.
They responded with a incredibly fearless faith. They said, God is able to deliver us.
I know, you can show away from me,
Play hard, run hard, go hard.
And the media went nuts attacking her. Katie joins us on the pod for the inside story.
So now a verdict with Ted Cruz now to hear all the details. You have financial? News Radio. But here's the good news. For Patriots, the trusted, prepared.
Let's talk with Ron, a satisfied Sky Roofing customer.
I noticed
and radiation and the effects of nuclear war on people. And my question is, how did people come to the conclusion, or society, or the medical government establishment began to think of the human beings as medical experiments without a lot of information on what they're doing?
Yeah, I think that, in the book we talk about several different times that this happened. This happened especially in World War II, where people were experimented on without obvious consent. And then this has happened in other places like, where medicines and treatments have been given. that's appropriate. We think of cancer research when there's novel technologies and novel medicines coming out that we might not know exactly what the consequences are, but the situation is dire, right?
Well, that means you have to sign a stack of papers about 2 feet tall.
Sure. And then this is just one area, especially in children, where we are experimenting on children. We don't know the effects of these hormones on healthy body tissue. We know what they can happen to in unhealthy, maybe children who have PCOS or other types of hormonal disorders, but we don't know the long-term and short-term effects of this, especially, and the key here is that doctors are treating healthy patients, so to speak, healthy body parts, healthy breast tissue, healthy reproductive organs. And so, we like to use the George, and we have forgotten, we have forgotten that we can't do experimental medicine on people without their consent, and so we're repeating it now.
Well, that, and also the fact that some people are being scared into this. I've talked with several sets of parents who, when they have their child going through this, oftentimes it's the therapist or it's a social worker who are telling the parents that they must encourage this question that children have to actually begin, for fear of not that the child will commit suicide. So it's almost as if the parents are being scared into giving consent for something that if they really knew what was going on, they would say wait, because of course I think one of the things we're missing today, Callie, is a good course in developmental psychology. I wish every college student should be allowed to take, again, a course unbiased, just of how this has happened, whether it's Piaget or Maslow. Learn how children develop and use the objective data. I think that would definitely bring an end to a lot of the things that we see going on. But the problem is, and this is something I don't know if you really talk about, but one of the things that's pushing this whole movement is not that
that there is no, when we hear that there is an increased risk for suicide, that is actually not proven to be true. So that is a manipulation tactic that is unfounded. But as we were just saying, transgender medicine, in quotes, is a $1 billion industry. The medications, the surgeries, those are expensive, and someone is profiting. So as one of the medical providers talks about in our film, they talk about, if you have some little widget or medication for making a male look more like female or vice versa, then there's money right now for you to be had in that. And so, it is a huge, something I like to remind people that they don't know is that once a child or even a young adult starts down this path of medicalizing their body to try to make it look more male or female, they are medicalized for life.
That's right.
They have to stay on hormones for life. The surgeries have complications. So this isn't something that's like a one and done. This is a lifelong, you're setting yourself up for lifelong treatment, so to speak.
And it's sad that now we're increasing it here in the United States, whereas the United Kingdom and the NI and their national health care have basically banned this among children, where here, of course, it's full steam ahead. And hopefully we'll learn that lesson in a faster way, because I'm scared that in 10 or 15 years, there's going to be a tremendous number of lawsuits against the people who had convinced these people to get these transitional surgeries done, and it's just going to be another tragedy for these people that we've dealt with.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see an increasing number of detransitioners over the next several years. And I think, you say we're full steam ahead, and I agree, it does feel that way, but I do think that we have reason to be hopeful. Hopefully we can follow some of these European countries that you're talking about. But I do have reason to be hopeful. I think that the more these young men and women do and take on the medical establishment, the more likely we are to end this. The more that parents get angry.
Anybody y'all see in that chat, man, go follow their page. Go subscribe to their page for sure.
About this. for people to get involved to try to slow this in the United States.
We've been speaking today with Kelly Fowle about her new book with Jennifer Law called The Detransition Diaries. Get a copy of this book.
Yeah, they can find it from our publisher, Ignatius Press. They can find it
in the Ohio River and comforts from your private room. 3 hot meals a day offer time for fellowship and reflection. 24-hour skilled nursing is available if needed. Catholic long-term care close to the city. Carmel Manor. The difference is love. For information,
Playing with the live, y'all. That's a lot of goddamn hay, ain't it? That's a lot of goddamn hay.
That's Mia at sacredheartradio.com.
Looking for a way to grow closer to your faith with your family this summer? Try a Holy Family Fest at Catholic Family Lane, located 20 minutes from Steubenville, Ohio. Family activities along with Mass, Rosary, Confession, and guest speakers create a perfect blend of excitement and ample time spent renewing your faith to allow life-changing encounters with the Lord. Financial assistance is available.